Welcome to StoryCon, Secretary. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Thank
Secretary.
you very
Long time no
much,
see.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Secretary, magandang hapon. Ma'am Lina, Sir Ed, and Ma'am
Good afternoon,
Ami. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Sa lahat na nakikinig.
Secretary, mukhang pumuputi yung buhok nyo, ah.
Oo?
Ha? Since yung last time na nakita kayo, puting-puti na yung buhok nyo, ah.
Huwag kang ganyan magsalita. Marami kang tinatamaan. Sir, let me start with something on everybody's mind these days. Kasi mag-show cause order daw ang DOE doon sa mga nagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina before the usual Tuesday price increases and all that. Give us an idea nga, you were former Energy Secretary, exactly how much regulatory authority does government have with regard to, number one, pricing ng oil products, at number two, timing ng pag-akyat baba ng mga presyo? Nagugulan kami kung anong talagang kapangyarihan ng gobyerno pagdating dyan.
Well, there is already an existing mechanism on how the price of fuel will be adjusted, whether up or down. No, it depends on the world market plots. We follow that.
Yes, sir.
So that is pagka i-replace pa rin nangyayari, yung replacement, katulad ngayon, nagtaas. So magtataas because the replacement quantity, mas mahal ang bibili nilang oil sa replacement. So established na yung mechanism noon pa man na nandyan na yung mechanism na yan. And there is a formula that is being followed. So all they have to do, all the players, at dapat gawin lang na lahat ng players, sundin yung mechanism na yun. Now,
Yes, sir.
kung hindi nila sinunod yun, then there is a reason para sa DOE to show cause to all the violators. Ang violators naman, hindi lang sa presyo, no? Quantity also, and the lot of other things.
Pero immediate ba yan, Secretary? Immediate ba yan? Tsaka wala bang paliwanag dyan para maging medyo transparent, para alam ng tao ano ba yung mga transfer cost na yan? Dahil paano natin ma-check yan kung very few lang nakakaalam? Hindi ba yan pinapaliwanag?
Pero mechanism yan, may formula yan na being followed. Pagtaas ng fuel price sa world market, pero ng a certain factor na paano tataas yan. Pero siyempre, there are different components na kung bakit yung presyo ng langis. Hindi lang yung per barrel, yung logistical cost, and other factors, including yung sinasabi natin na parang nawawala. So kasama lahat yan, may mechanism yan. And during our time, yun na sinasabi natin, na gumawa tayo ng memorandum order, memorandum circular para sa para ipakita kung paano ang ano ba yung detalye ng presyo ng langis, at para malaman ng tao kung paano pinocompute lahat yan. Sabi natin may insurance kasama dyan, may insurance, yun sa lahat ng presyo ng insurance, transport, security, maraming bagay. Marami nakalodge doon sa bago dumating sa presyo ng langis. So sinasabi natin, ibigay lahat yan sa tao. Unfortunately, hindi kami nakapadyon. Yun talaga hindi natin natapos yung bagay na yun because sinahadlangan din yun ng mga players noon. Hadlangan din yan. And dapat lang malaman na nating lahat kung paano ang component ng price ng fuel na ibinibenta sa atin.
So, Secretary,
you're
lahat
saying,
ng
Secretary, kahit deregulated yung environment, pwedeng sabihin ng gobyerno na merong profiteering, merong unauthorized increase, pwedeng sabihin nila yon. Dahil sinasabi nyo, meron namang mechanism eh. Kahit deregulated, the government can go after the oil companies or the gasoline stations for profiteering and unauthorized increase. Sinasabi nyo, pwede yon.
Well, profiteering at unauthorized magpo ng show cost para to determine that.
Yes.
Pero ang dapat nga lang po, lahat dyan, makita natin na dapat nga po ipakita lahat ang breakdown ng presyo ng langis. No po? Dahil yung kung ang final price po niya, nung nangyari 70 pesos per liter, example lang po, no? Ano po yung position ng 70 na yan. Nakikita po lahat yan. No? Kaya, at tapos ang DOE, nakikita naman parang may range. Kasi nga po, deregulated po ang presyo ng langis. No po? Deregulated in the sense na may competition, nagkakaroon ng competition. Pero, may, napakahirap kasi yung mga players, sila rin po yun. No? Sabi nga po natin, ano ba yung cartel? O ano po? Pero hindi po sinasabing ko po. Talagang napakahirap po. And this is where a government must really step in. Kasi ang problema po ng itong the oil, ano po, particular, is pag regulated po yan, nasa private hands na po lahat yan. Wala po ang gobyerno. Wala po ang gobyerno. Hindi po participating in sa trading or sa po ng langis. Ang lahat po dyan, red value, nagre-regulate lang po ang gobyerno. And this is a very important item na sinasabi po natin noon na dapat ang gobyerno po ay kahit papaano at involved in the industry. Dito sa business of oil, kailangan kasama po. While hindi naman dapat nagkuhan, pero this is a very, kailangan po ito, importante po sa tulad ngayon. Kailangan nandyan po ang gobyerno.
So, Secretary, ang sinasabi nyo, in a deregulated regime, talagang lahat ng burden, consumers lang ang magbubuhat. At yung mga big players, baka hindi sila nagbubuhat. Baka kumikita pa sila sa ganitong klaseng crisis.
Well, sana po hindi nangyayari yung gano'n. No? At sabi nga natin, magpakatao naman sa ganitong crisis. Pero hindi din po natin maaalis na sa pagninegosyo, kanya-kanya pong diskarte ng pagkita ng paghahanap buhay. Kaya napakahirap kontrolin. Kaya nga po, during our time, sinasabi po natin, kailangan ang gobyerno to participate in the industry at hindi lang po sa regulatory. Kaya po, nagkakuan din po tayo noon ng panahon na yun. Hindi po naman natin sinasabing magaling o tama. Iba po yung landscape nung nandun kami sa DOE. Pero nung sinasabi po natin dito that the government must be ready to protect in crisis like this, sinabi po natin doon, dapat naglagay po tayo ng strategic oil reserve. No? Yung pong yun ang mungkahi natin noon. Kaya nagkaroon po naman nakausap, nagkaroon kami ng mga memorandum circular, in-empower natin ang PNOC, pero siyempre marami pong laban doon, lalo na po yung nasa business of oil.
So hindi siya natuloy, Secretary? We never built up our reserves. Hindi po natin tinaasan yung mga reserves despite the memorandum circular. Is that what you're saying? Hindi po natuloy kahit na nag-issue ng memorandum circular?
Hindi po natuloy yun. Ano? Kasi po, as sinabi nga po natin, in crisis, remember that in 2019, binomba po yung Aramco 2019 plus the COVID. Sabi natin, ang pagdating ng langis, baka magkahirapan magkaroon ng shortage. So kailangan po magkaroon tayo ng strategic fuel reserve, oil reserve, na sa ganun, ilalabas lang po ito ng gobyerno for subsidy, for crisis, for emergency, para po sa ganun, pagtuloy-tuloy yung pagpapatakbo ng ating mga critical offices, yung mga services. Meron po tayo. Kasi sabi nga po natin dito, sa private sector, ang oil reserve po natin is limited to the capacity of the private sector. If I'm not mistaken po, I think we are good for 30 days oil reserve. Yung ating yung clean product natin, 30 days. Tapos for refining yata dito na madama pang hanggang 45. Yun ang maximum po natin. Pero our demand has been increasing also, but I don't know how much the facility, the oil storage has increased. So, yun po ang dapat magkuhan. Kaya sabi nga po, nagsalita po ako, nag-meeting kami doon sa mga kasama ko, sabi, sana ma-inventaryo natin ano ba talaga ang existing inventory that we have. So, para po sa ganun, makapagplano po yung conservation. Sa ngayon po, wala tayong magagawa. Talaga conservation agad tayo dapat.
Pero sir, as you did point out nga, we already have reserves, yung nga lang 30 days, not as much as you would want like a strategic oil reserve. But be that as it may, yung nga, we do have reserves na 30 days. So baka hindi ang problema is whether you have reserves or not. Baka ang problema dun sa pricing natin is the idea that the prices are based on replenishment instead of for example, acquisition. Yun lang po. Kasi we do have reserves already as it is. It's just that it's not as much as what you would want.
Sabi nga, siyempre tayo po sa mga ordinaryong tao, sinasabi nga po natin, bakit ninyo ibinebenta po ng mahal ang oil ngayon? Ay binili naman ninyo ng mura yan. Yung lagi po, ano? May puntos naman, ano po, gano'n. Sana po, benta na lang muna ninyo into the same price that it was acquired, or I mean, the little profit when it was acquired. Pero sabi nga natin po, kung yan po, kung may 1,000 liters tayo ngayon, ibenta po natin ngayon yan at let's say at the price last week, pag bumili po itong mga traders natin ngayon, ang 1,000 liters, they need more money. So, naman po, hindi rin po naman clear na po. Kaya sinasabi nga na palulugi naman yung negosyante. Kaya nagkaroon po ng pricing formula kung paano nagbabase ang paggalaw ng presyo sa domestically based on the pag-angkat ng langis in the world market. Ang basic problem natin po is that we are very import dependent po talaga tayo. Import dependent.
Okay.
Wala po tayo makuha. Paggalaw doon, ganyan po.
But
Ang sa ngayon po, iniisip natin, sabi nga po natin, bumabalikan ko lang po yung 30 days reserve, no? Yung 30 days reserve na yun is for trading, for selling. Pero nga, patulad po nito, yung sinasabi po naman natin strategic reserve, that is for mga prices like this. Kasi nga po, pwedeng hindi dumating yung langis. Kahit available in the world market, pero kung hindi naman po may biyahe dito, walang mangyari. Hindi natin magagamit. At saka yung pong pagdadala, siyempre nga po, yung Strait of Hormuz and the other routes are being closed, being bumped. Maraming papuan, hindi po makakarating dito. Tapos, ang availability of barko rin po, no? So, hindi ganong sabihin natin, ngayon, bili tayo ng langis, order tayo. Baka maaaring maka-order tayo, may pera tayo para to order. Pero, how to bring it here is another problem.
Pero Secretary, in more developed economies, ina-absorb ng iba't ibang mga sectors yung ganyang klaseng crisis. Ina-absorb yan ng companies, ina-absorb yan ng gobyerno, as well as the consumers. Bakit sa atin, basically, consumers lang ang nag-absorb? No? Sabi nyo nga, baka malugi yung company. I have yet to see a big player na nalugi. No? Parang hindi pa yata nangyari yon ever. So, wala ba talagang sistema na sa isang common crisis, may i-absorb ang mga kumpanya, may i-absorb ang consumer, may i-absorb din ang gobyerno. At hindi lang puro consumers lang ang mag-absorb.
Marami pong mechanism, marami pong mechanism. But tanggapin po natin na because in a free trade, ganito nga po, at talagang ang mag-absorb po niyan is the other buyers, the consumers. Talaga pong gano'n na magkupan unless the government comes into the picture at magkaroon po ng subsidy. Ngayon, ang problema, sinasabi, maraming factors po, how we can do it. Meron po tayong sinasabi na yung, excise tax, di po ba? Excise tax. Yung pong excise tax is on top of the VAT, excise tax on fuel. But there is a mechanism that if the price of oil in the world market reaches or goes beyond 80 per barrel, pwedeng i-suspend yung excise tax. Noong panahon na yun, sinasabi natin, basta pagkapuan, dapat na kahit hindi pa nag-reach ng 80, sana may suspend agad dyan. Kasi yung revenue generation ng gobyerno, kumikita naman ang gobyerno doon sa excise tax, siyempre, pagkahabang tumataas ang presyo, lalong lumalaki ang take ng gobyerno. Ganun din po sa VAT. Habang tumataas, lumalaki ang take ng gobyerno. So, that is an area. That's why sinasabi natin, dapat magkaroon agad ngayon in this extraordinary situation, sana masuspend agad
Yeah.
yung excise tax. Huwag na nating hintayin yun.
Yeah.
Isuspend na lang muna.
except-
Pabayaan na lang muna yung VAT and then it will cover kahit pa paano. I mean, that is my yung aking
Of course.
personal opinion.
Oo. Of course, that's a very populist move, sir. No, kaya lang the trade-off is, of course, the national government loses billions in revenue as well, which will impact programs with PhilHealth, with DSWD, with DepEd, and so on and so forth. And the issue that Ed and Ronald raised, yung pricing as well as yung absorption of the increases, yun nga yung difficulty is because we are in a free market. So the government is limited as well in what we can do. But let me come back to what you were saying earlier, which is, okay, one solution could have been we set up strategic reserves. Okay, you tried, that didn't happen. How about diversifying our sources of crude? Because, sir, when I look at the sources of our crude, it's still predominantly Middle East. So Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, Oman as well. So respectfully, during your time, why didn't we, push for a more diversified energy market, energy source?
Well, we can do that. We can source from Africa. We can source it from the U.S., which we are. No, I think the Philippines some players are doing that, and it's not just not the Middle East for clean product. Clean products we are importing from China, from Korea, from Singapore, from Japan, no, some players. Although in a smaller quantity, doon sila. Ang nangyayari kasi yung excess dati ng China, Japan, and other countries, ibinebenta sa atin yung sa players natin. Yun ang ginagamit natin dito. So pero ngayon nag-suspend na agad ang China. They suspended it already, and I think all other countries will do the same and conserve their reserve for their country. So, Japan is the very good example of yung sa strategic petroleum reserve. Kasi nung nandun po naman ako nung nasa DOE po ako, hindi naman po yun sarili kong katang-isip ang ginawa ng petroleum reserve. We patterned that after the Japan system, no? Where the government has a very big reserve for mga purposes nga na ganito. Yung sinasabi kanina na pwedeng subsidy, pwedeng pagka masyado mataas ng presyo, pwedeng i-release ng gobyerno at a subsidized price, ano? And then the strategic reserve can be replenished when the price is low, and so on and so forth. Maraming mechanism. Easier said than done.
Secretary, wala na yung automatic suspension ng excise tax pag umabot ng 80 yung yung crude Wala
Nag-lapse
na
na po in 2020.
2020.
Sorry.
Nag-lapse na po. And also the markets,
Yung 80.
the markets that you were talking about, China, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, that's for finished petroleum products. What I was referring to was yung Brent
Clean
crude.
product po yun. Clean
Oo.
products.
So-
Finished na po. Refined na po.
What I was talking about
po.
was we source 98% of our Brent crude, the raw crude, still from the Middle East. And I'm wondering why, kasi matagal na pong issue ang energy security, sir, di ba? For every administration has tried to do something around it, but to this day, we are still overly reliant on Middle East oil.
Related po sa tanong ni Reg, how about
Kasi
renewables?
sinasabi nga po natin, that
Dahil
is the
very-
hands of the private sector.
Very
Sila po
dramatic yung
nagsosource ng
pag-increase
ating
ng source
energy.
ng energy ng China at India from renewables. Sa atin ba, wala bang ganung dramatic increase in renewables?
Marami man tayo ng renewables. If we talk of renewables, nandiyan na po pumasok ang sa solar, no po. Yung sa solar, wind,
Binibiste.
geothermal, and hydro. Meron naman tayo for our energy, for electricity, for electricity. But for transport, wala po tayo for transport pa. Hindi pa po tayo. Kahit CNG, nawala po sa programa natin yung sa CNG.
Secretary, kung sakaling yung within the regulatory powers of the government, anong mga pwedeng maging dahilan para halimbawa i-sanction yung fuel company or yung gasoline station? Ano ang pwedeng maging dahilan doon?
Pwede po pasara ng kung ano yun. Pagka may violation po gano'n, pwede po ipasara. Pero pagpapasara po, under circumstances, ano po gagawin natin? Kung ano, marami po penalties, meron gano'n.
Oo.
May,
Pero ano yung circumstance? Kasi mahirap ng patunayan yung profiteering and under what
napakahirap po.
circumstance?
But kung tutuusin, pwede naman po. That can be proven po. Dahil quantifiable naman po lahat yan. Quantifiable lahat po yan. No? So, anything quantifiable can be proven naman po kanyan.
So pwedeng patunayan ang profiteering at the pumps.
Katulad po ngayon sa nangyayari, kung may nagbebenta po ng mahigit na 100, no po,
Yes.
may problema yun. Profiteering na po yun. Sa ibang lugar po talaga nagte-take advantage, especially kung nyari siya lang ang gas station na nagbebenta, talaga pong nandun, ano po, talaga nagsasamantala. May nagsasamantala. Meron naman pong maayos na operator din po. Ganun naman. Kaya nga lang po siguro, kailangan may pagtibayin po natin yung pagbabantayan po yung sa gobyerno natin tayong mamamayan. Tayo na rin po mag-report sa DOE kung may nakikita po tayong gano'n. At kung tayo pong mamamayan mismo ang magsasabi at makikilos at tatayos, tama, may pagbabago po tayong aasahan. Para sumunod yung mga presyo.
So there's such a thing as a reasonable increase sa presyo ng gasolina. Meron ganon.
Ang DOE will be able to compute pa. Sa DOE, marami po tayong technical people doon. Marami silang technical people doon. Field office, marami po tayo dyan. Marami po tayong tao dyan. And they're very qualified and they know what to do. So, all we have to do is give them all the necessary information. Where are these stations that are taking advantage, and they will be able to address that po.
Secretary, speaking of solar, what happened to Solar Para sa Bayan? I remember this company was granted a franchise in your time, and I remember you were quite enthusiastic about it. July 2019 is when it was granted a 25-year franchise. And we only recently found out through Energy Secretary Sharon Garin that it's actually now defunct. Sinirado na po yung kumpanya just a few years after it was given a 25-year franchise. And also,
2022.
Also, Secretary Garin said it never made any applications to, I forgot what was her term. It never entered the DOE's regulatory pipeline, if I recall correctly, is what she said. What happened there?
Solar Para sa Bayan franchise that was passed by Congress. And how it operated, hindi ko na po malaman kung paano sila nag-operate. But I know Solar Philippines to have many service contracts. May mga service contracts po sila. If we talk of service contracts, marami po silang service contracts. May sa Tarlac, may sa Nueva Ecija, meron sa Batangas yata. Marami po yung in-applyan ang Solar Philippines. Marami po silang na-applyan na area. At ang DOE nag-issue ng service contract. So, yung service contract are our responsibilities. I mean, DOE responsibilities.
Yes, sir. Pero didn't the DOE have supervisory powers over this franchise? I mean, I'm sure to begin with, even while Congress was deliberating on the franchise, the DOE was being consulted about this because this is basically your expertise.
And respectfully, sir,
It works like this, no? When you dati-rati, pagdating ko sa DOE, ang buong Metro Manila, including Clark, may service contract yan under one company. And he said that we cannot. Pati yung bubong ng bahay ko, meron service contract. May hawak ng isang company. You know? Eh sabi ko, hindi naman yata pwede buong ng bahay ko. Service contract yan. So we changed we changed the policy. And the policy is that if you have a property, you own the property, or you have the lease to the property or right to the property, you can apply for service contract to install solar. Yun po ang policy. So that is to apply for service contract. So kung kahit tayo, mga companies, pwede tayo mag-apply household solar at saka yun po para sa pangnegosyo. So service contract po ang i-issue ng DOE. But ang service contract po does not give you the power na para magkaroon ka na magbenta ka sa grid. Wala po yun. So, ang gagawin po ng may holder niyan, mag-a-apply sila to apply to the grid, to the distributor para magbenta ng kuryente. So, some have succeeded in getting PSA as we call. No? Karoon sila ka-connection sa grid, distribution, benta yan. Ayun. Ngayon, kung magkukuhan po tayo ng, sabi niya, franchise, katulad ng franchise ng Meralco, ng Aboitiz, ng mga ganun, a-apply po nila ng separation. So, we have to differentiate yung sa service contract at saka yung sa franchise po. Pagkatapos, tama po yun, nakukonsultahin naman na ganyan, na ito ba talagang kanila yung sa public hearing po ng Kongreso o ng Senado para ng houses para magbigyan ng franchise. They have their own policy to do that.
Right. Secretary, but with SPPHI, Solar Power Philippines Holdings Incorporated, the Energy Department also canceled dozens of their contracts. In fact, if I recall correctly, the figure was up to 11,000 megawatts that they initially had committed to produce. That's number one. The second thing is, there are a few media reports, including one that I just read from Manila Bulletin, that reported that during the deliberations on the bill for Solar para sa Bayan, you emerged as one of the key backers for it. So I'm just wondering why back then you were so, enthusiastic about it, but just 3 short years later, wala na po tong kumpanya. So I'm just trying to understand what happened there. Because it's not easy to get a congressional franchise.
That I will not be able to answer because I'm not privy to it. Bakit nawala yung kumpanya? What I can answer you is the service contract. It pertains to service contract issuances.
Do you regret supporting Solar para sa Bayan after it's turned out that it wasn't able to deliver any of its commitments?
They were not able to deliver their commitment. How's that?
Sorry, sir, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I did get your question.
Ulitin mo na.
The question.
Sorry, I can't
question.
hear- I can't
you didn't hear your question.
Reg.
Tanong.
Okay, I was just asking if you regretted supporting it, considering that in the end it also wasn't able to
Deliver.
produce much, according to the DOE now. It wasn't able to deliver its commitments, according to the DOE now.
Well, there are rules. So there are timelines for when a service contract is issued. A service contract is issued based on a lot of performance conditions. No? May timelines yan. So if they did not meet their commitment, there are the corresponding penalties, including cancellation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Merong rules yan. So kung hindi nag-perform, hindi nila nagawa, cancel. May penalty yun, no? May penalty yun.
Yes,
So
sir.
because ito namang lahat investment nila yan, hindi naman wala namang investment ang gobyerno diyan. Sila lahat yan. Kung hindi nila gagawin diyan, lugi sila.
Yes,
Diba?
but sir,
So
but,
it's to their interest to finish the project.
yes, sir. But I think that the point of the question is, was sufficient background checking done and research done as to whether
Before.
It was capable of
whether
committing
the
to all
company was going to be able to do the projects that it was given either through congressional franchise or through the service contracts. Kasi in the end, the entire thing collapsed, and you have so many years of potential solar power that could have been generated go up in smoke, basically.
Parang ang tanong, Secretary, is not whether they were penalized for underperformance or inability to deliver their commitment. Ang tanong, why the government ba na background check sila na maigi before the government supported the project?
Sabi nga po natin, may service contract sila. Kung hindi sila makadeliver ng kanilang commitment, magawa yung promises, performance sila, may corresponding action that DOE can do. Ngayon, ito namang service contract na yan, sabi nga po natin, these projects are all private. Wala pong gobyernong pera dyan. So kung naglagay na sila ng pera dyan at hindi nila tatapusin, malaking pagkalugian. Ngayon, to finance it, kasi may maraming hurdles po yun, including yung financial closure, kasi karamihan naman po ng projects are with financing. Finance po yan. Tapos pagpunta nila sa bangko, ang bangko naman po, hindi naman magpapahiram ng pera yan, hindi nila ipapan dyan kung hindi nila nakikita ang project at ang project proponent are qualified. So, ganun po ang pag-usad ng proyekto. Ngayon, kung hindi nila magagawa, ayan nga, sabi ko sa kanila, sa inyo, mas malaki ang mawawala po sa kanila. So, ang punta natin dito, tingnan natin, bakit hindi sila nakapag-perform? Hindi ko po masagot yun.
Yeah, of course, we're not asking you to answer that anymore, Secretary. But yes or no, very quickly, just to be very clear, yes or no, you feel like you guys did enough to background check this company?
Oh yes, everything they have. There are standards. There are standards that are being followed. Hindi naman po yan basta bibigay na lang na ito service contract mo, gawin mo yan. No. Everything has a standard. There are minimum requirements that a company has to meet before they can secure a service contract.
Yeah.
Napakarami po nun. For solar, for example, para sa solar, kung lupa, kung 1,000 megawatts ang buwan nila, at least 1,000 hectares of land is needed. Paano po nila ikuha nyo? Either they own the property or they lease the property, they are paying for the rental or whatever, gastos po yun. So, hindi po ganun kasimple ang pagkuha ng service contract. It is not something that I want a service contract, bigyan mo kami. Ganun.
Even harder to get is a congressional franchise, which is why I'm really puzzled as to how this company shut down just 3 years after it got a franchise. But we'll leave that there. We'll pick it up with you another time. Thanks so much for talking to us today, former Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. Salamat, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat.
Secretary.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo.